At the airport in Dubai, hundreds of people were waiting in line. A young boy stood quietly near gate 23. His hands were shaking. His heart was beating very fast. When the airline staff looked at him and asked in English, "Sir, can I see your passport, please?" He froze. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. Not because he didn't know the answer, but because he was afraid of English. That boy's name was Arjun, and today this same boy speaks English confidently on international stages and earns in dollars. But his journey started with fear, shame, and silence. This is not a fantasy story. This is a real motivational story. His painful beginning. Arjun was born in a small town. His father was a shopkeeper. His mother stitched clothes at home. They were honest, hard-working people, but they were not educated in English. Arjun went to a government school. There, English was taught like a punishment. The teacher would write long sentences on the blackboard and shout, "Read." If a student made a mistake, everyone laughed. One day Arjun tried to read. He mispronounced a word. The whole class laughed. The teacher said, "Sit down. You people will never learn English." That sentence went straight into his heart. From that day, Arjun decided something very dangerous. "I will never speak English again." Fear became his shadow. He grew up. He became good in math, good in science. But whenever English came, his body reacted strangely. His hands became cold. His throat became dry. His heart beat faster. He avoided English like a disease. In college, he skipped presentations. He never asked questions. He stayed quiet. Inside, he felt, "I'm not less intelligent. I am just afraid." But fear doesn't care about truth. Fear only cares about control. Life hit him hard. After college, Arjun got a job interview in a multinational company. This was his chance. He prepared everything: resume, documents, clothes. But when the interview started, the manager said, "Tell me about yourself." Arjun's mind went blank. He knew who he was. He knew his skills. But English? English locked his tongue. He failed that interview, not because he was bad, but because he could not express himself. That night he cried alone, and that night he made a decision that changed his life. The turning point. He looked into the mirror and said, "I am tired of being afraid. English will not control my future anymore." He did not have money for big coaching classes. He did not have a teacher, but he had something more powerful, a decision. He started with small steps, watching English videos daily, listening even when he didn't understand, speaking alone in his room, making mistakes without shame. He felt stupid sometimes, but he did not stop, because he finally understood something important. You don't fail when you make mistakes. You fail when you stop trying. If you are watching this story and you feel afraid to speak, shy about your English, or tired of being silent, then remember, you are not alone. Stories like this are made for you. Subscribe to this channel, because this is where fear ends and confidence begins. The struggle nobody sees. For months, Arjun spoke broken English. People laughed. Some friends mocked him, but he kept going. Slowly, something changed. He began to understand more. His sentences became clearer. His fear became weaker. One day, he spoke English in public for the first time. His voice was shaking. But he did it. That was the day his old fears started dying. He was still far from success. He was still not fluent, but he was no longer silent. And that was the beginning of his rebirth. Arjun's life had started to change, but change is never smooth. When you decide to become better, life does not clap for you. Life tests you. And Arjun was about to face his first real test. The day his fear came back. 3 months after he started practicing English daily, Arjun got another interview call. This time it was from a smaller company. The salary was less, but the opportunity was real. He was excited, but afraid. That old fear whispered inside him, "What if you fail again? What if they laugh? What if your English is still not enough?" His hands started shaking again, but he remembered his mirror promise. English will not control my future anymore. So he went. The interview that changed him. The interviewer smiled and asked, "Can you tell me something about your background?" Arjun took a deep breath. His English was not perfect. His grammar was not perfect. His pronunciation was not perfect. But he spoke, slowly, honestly, bravely. For the first time in his life, he did not run from English. The interviewer did not laugh. The interviewer listened. 2 days later, Arjun got a call. "Congratulations. You are selected." Arjun stared at his phone. He didn't jump. He didn't shout. He just whispered, "I did it." Not because he got a job, but because he finally spoke without fear. Almost quitting. One day his manager asked him to present a report in English. That night Arjun could not sleep. His heart was racing. His mind was full of fear. He opened his laptop and stared at the screen. The same old voice returned. "You are not good enough. You will embarrass yourself. You should quit before they remove you." He closed the laptop. He sat quietly, and he almost cried. The silent decision. Then something powerful happened. He didn't run. He didn't quit. He opened the laptop again. He practiced each sentence aloud. He recorded his voice. He corrected himself. He practiced again and again. He was afraid, but he did not stop. That night he changed again. He didn't become fluent. He became fearless. The presentation day, his hands were shaking. His voice was soft, but he stood in front of everyone, and he spoke, not perfect English, but real English. He made small mistakes. He paused, but he didn't stop. Something strange happened. People listened. They nodded. They understood. After the presentation, his manager said, "Good effort, Arjun. Keep improving." Those 3 words hit his heart deeply. Good effort. No one had ever told him that before. If you are watching this and thinking, "I want to speak English, but I'm afraid," then this story is for you. You don't need perfect grammar. You need courage to start. Subscribe to this channel, because every story here is made to remove fear and build confidence. Small wins became big strength. Arjun slowly changed his habits. He spoke even when nervous. He asked questions. He didn't hide anymore. People started respecting him, not for his English, but for his effort and honesty. His English improved naturally, because he was using it daily, without fear. He realized something important. One evening, while returning home, he smiled. He was still learning, but he was no longer afraid. And he finally understood. Confidence is not about perfect English. It is about speaking even when you are not. Arjun had won his first battle, but his biggest transformation was still coming. In the next part, something unexpected will happen, something that will push him to a level he never imagined. The opportunity that changed everything. Sometimes life waits. It waits to see if you are serious about your dream. Arjun had started speaking English. He was no longer hiding, but life was about to test him again in a much bigger way. A normal day that became unforgettable. One Monday morning, Arjun entered his office as usual. Coffee in one hand, bag on his shoulder, hope in his heart. Suddenly, his manager called him. "Arjun, come to the conference room." Inside the room were 3 foreign clients. They were speaking in fast English. His manager said, "Arjun will explain today's report." Arjun froze. This was not planned. This was not practiced. This was real life. His heart was beating fast. But something inside him said, "Don't run. This is your moment." The toughest 10 minutes of his life. He walked forward. He opened his file. His hands were shaking, but he began. Slow, clear, honest. He did not use big words. He used simple words, and the clients understood. They nodded. They asked questions. He answered slowly. Those 10 minutes felt like 10 years. But when he finished, they smiled. One client said, "Very clear explanation." "Thank you." Arjun felt something heavy leave his chest. Fear, the message that changed everything. 2 days later, his manager called him again. "The clients liked your communication. They want you to join the new international project." Arjun couldn't believe it. This project meant higher salary, international exposure, growth opportunities. This was not luck. This was the result of not quitting. New world, new pressure. The new team was bigger. The work was harder. Meetings were longer. English was faster. At first, Arjun felt lost again. But this time he did not feel afraid. He felt challenged. He practiced daily. He learned new words. He improved naturally, because now English was not fear. It was a tool. He became an inspiration. New employees started coming to him. They asked, "How did you learn English? How did you become confident?" Arjun smiled and said, "I started speaking before I was ready." That one sentence became his life rule. If you are listening to this and feeling inspired, this channel exists for you. Subscribe now, because here we turn fear into confidence and silence into strength. The day he realized he had changed, one evening while returning home, Arjun passed the same interview building where he once failed. He stopped. He smiled. And he whispered, "Thank you for rejecting me," because that rejection built me. But Arjun's biggest success was still ahead. Something was about to happen that would not only change his job, but change his life purpose. From employee to leader, success does not make you special. Character does. Arjun was now part of an international project. He was earning better. He was learning fast. But something inside him had changed. He was no longer fighting only for money. He was fighting for purpose. The new responsibility. One day his manager said, "Arjun, you will guide 2 new team members." Arjun was shocked. Guide others? He once couldn't even guide himself, but now people were looking up to him. Those 2 new members were nervous. They were quiet. They were afraid to speak, just like he once was. He saw his old self in them. They avoided meetings. They kept their cameras off. They stayed silent. Arjun did not scold them. He smiled. He said, "You don't need perfect English. You just need courage to start." They listened. They trusted him. And slowly they started speaking. The real leader is born. Arjun didn't just give work. He gave confidence. He taught them how to practice, how to speak without fear, how to make mistakes and grow. Within months, his team became strong. His manager noticed. And one day he said, "Arjun, your leadership has changed this team." Those words meant more to him than his salary, because now he was not just improving his life, he was improving other lives. If you are watching this and thinking, "I want to become confident like Arjun," then you are in the right place. Subscribe to this channel, because confidence can be learned and we teach it here. The moment that touched his heart. One evening, one of his team members came to him and said, "Sir, because of you, I spoke in English in my first meeting today." Arjun's eyes became wet. That sentence proved his struggle had meaning. But the final chapter of Arjun's journey is the most powerful one, because he is about to make a decision that will change thousands of lives. The mission that changed everything. Arjun had a good job, a stable salary, respect in his office, but something inside him was not quiet. Every day he saw people who were afraid to speak, afraid to grow, afraid to believe in themselves. He remembered his old self, and his heart asked one question: what if I can help them? The bold decision. One night, Arjun opened a blank notebook. On the first page he wrote, "I will help people who are afraid of English." He didn't know how. He didn't know when. But he knew why. That night, a new mission was born. The first step, scary but powerful. He started by recording short English motivation videos on his phone. His voice was still simple. His background was plain. But his message was real. You don't need perfect English. You need courage. The first video got only 7 views. But Arjun smiled, because one person had commented. This gave me hope. Slowly, people started listening. He kept posting. One video became 10. 10 became 50. People started messaging him. "I spoke today because of you. I stopped being afraid. You changed my life." Arjun's small channel slowly became a movement. The moment that made him cry. One day, he got a message from a boy. "Sir, I failed 3 interviews because of English. Today I cleared my first interview." Arjun closed his phone. And he cried, because that boy was once him. He finally understood his purpose. Success was not his job. Success was changing lives. He now traveled to small towns. He gave free sessions. He motivated students. He was no longer just an employee. He was a guide. Final message to your viewers, strong CTA. If you are watching this story till the end, it means something inside you wants to change. Don't ignore that voice. Subscribe to this channel, because this channel is not entertainment. This channel is transformation. Here, fear ends. Here, confidence begins. Final truth, powerful close. Arjun was not born confident. He was not born fluent. He was born afraid. But he decided, fear will not control my future, and that one decision changed everything. The end.